The last time that we had Adam and Olivier had picked up the mantle, and we're going to see what they could do and turn this into a solution going forward that we could continue to use, because J2Store is one of the biggest shops that is available to Joomla. Without further ado, over to Adam and Olivier.
Thank you very much, Phil. Yes, well, when it came last time, we were just starting with J2Store, and we were like a little overwhelmed with all the stuff that had to be done. But I hope we met the expectations so far. We try to help people get on with J2Store, move to J2Commerce, have their stores back on track after a little while being left in the ditch, I would say. But Adam and I, we really wanted to make this project a success. So, and I think with what Adam is going to show you, I think you're gonna agree it's gonna be one. So go ahead, and he has a big a better way of presenting things for me.
I just figure I'm just going to show what we've been working on. Now, those of you guys that have interacted with us and the support and go from when we 18 months ago till today, it's been a massive undertaking, not just on getting this Joomla 6 native version of it up and running, but really maintaining the existing almost 200 extensions that most of them were not migrated to J2Store 4 when we first took over. So in addition to that, in addition to fixing bugs, adding additional features and everything else, we still knew that the future was really was this, what we're about to show you. I'm an active user of this, so I use this for my projects, and the biggest thing for me is I need this to be easy for me to migrate my complicated stores, my stores that have 8,000 products. For some of you that I saw some of the messages earlier about a migration tool, the answer is yes, we do have one. I will show that to you in a second. In fact, I use this on one of my own sites that have 7,000 products on it, 70 categories, 70 menu items, everything. And this was able to help migrate the entire process to the new version. I'll show you that real quick. This is going to be a beta release, so we need your help. Kind of try and break this thing. Olivier is going to set up a separate section in support just for this, so that way you could submit your issues, items, things you're running into, and we can start squashing these things. That's the only way we're going to be able to get this out there. In the meantime, everything is going to be built in the same MVC Joomla 6 PSR standards. And so if you are an extension developer, you'll be very, very familiar. We also are working on a fully extensive developer documentation. It's already going to come in the box with a full REST API, so you can connect this to mobile applications. And then after we take some questions and answers, then I'm going to show you some cool things that we're working on. Without further ado, let me go share my screen. I'm going to start with the migration tool just to get that out of the way, because I know I'm going to forget it. And then we'll get into the good stuff. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
So this is going to be definitely improved on, but this is the migration tool. And the reason why we decided to go this direction is because this is going to be a completely separate component than com_J2Store. This is going to be com_J2Commerce, which means you can actually install this on your existing J2Store sites while you configure everything to make sure that everything is working, apples to apples. So you can still keep your J2Store running until you're ready. And then switching this over is really just something as simple as going in, assuming you've already gone through, like I have, and hit these run buttons. These are database tables that basically take your J2 database information and copies it and pushes it into the J2Commerce tables. The customers and orders section and transactional section, this would allow you to, at the very last second, sync up with new customers, new orders that you've had on J2Store since you installed this. So that way you're not having to sit there and try and figure out what orders need to be switched over. You just push a button. You could shut off the site for 5 minutes just to make sure no new orders come in. Once you hit this run button, it'll find any differences, it'll push them in, and you're good to go. So migration will be easy when it comes to the database information. And you can even do dry runs to see what that would look like without taking a chance of actually touching any data. But the good thing is none of your J2 data is touched. So even if you make a mistake, since this is essentially a new, you can just hit the button to refresh and start all over again. We also have a bunch of new tools here, such as if you want to make sure that all your new J2Commerce menu items are created, you just push this simple button that says create store pages. It'll create it for you. You can even go ahead and load your existing J2 menus and map them back and forth. There's several new features in J2Commerce, one of which we're going to be using UPI as the multi-image uploader, so you can drag 30 images to a product, not have to worry about one at a time. It'll automatically format your images into thumbnails, tiny images, convert them all to WebP. It'll do it all. So you just drag it all in there and you're done. And what this will do is this will take all of your existing images that you have for J2Store that don't have all of those additional options, and this will convert it, and then it'll update the database with these new images. So if you have a bunch of heavy images in there that are JPEGs, and you're like, I've been meaning to optimize them and get them, all compressed, this will do it for you, and you can set, I want all of my thumbnail images to be 400 by 400 or whatever you want, my tiny images to be 100 by 100, and it'll go through the directories. You can say, where do I want to do that? We also have a couple additional items, like if you have Joomla tag images, option value images, this will also do the same thing for those. It'll scan the tables. And so, for instance, if I were, I don't want to get too lost in the wheels, but you can get everything set up, create a whole separate set of images. You can go through and delete the old ones if you want. You can keep them on there, whatever you want to do. But this is designed to make things super easy. And then the sub-templates, this is, I use this, considering anybody that knows me knows that I live in layout overrides. So one of my earliest, in fact, this is one of my first J2Store 4 projects, which was one of my own. This was in a beta version, and I was able to use the sub-templates to go through all of my J2Store overrides and replace all of the J2Store functions and methods and calls and everything, and including all the old, J text and J everything else that was still stuck in there for years. And it actually added all the name spacing at the top, and it replaced everything with the equivalent J2Commerce. And so the end result of that is that I was able to take the site that this originally started as a Joomla 3 site, migrated to J2Store 4. Now this site, apples to apples, is 7,000 products later, is now a J2Commerce 6 site. And so I didn't have to go rebuild the whole thing. Migration tool did a lot of it, and then there was just some, other adjustments. But that's the migration tool. Hopefully that takes care of that. How much more time do we have left, just so I know how much to ramble on?
Oh, you've got an hour and a half. Ramble.
Okay. All right. So perfect. All right. So this is perfect. All right. This, for those of you that know, this is the demo site that originally started in in J-Day 2024, just showing people how to take a basic Cassiopeia site and without using any additional extensions, how to do that. And then last year, I decided to use the same site to show how to build a store in J2Store. In basically, I think I got it down to 34 minutes. And so I decided to use this. I used the migration tool on here to migrate the few products that we had. And then Tennille is on this call, helped me with adding a bunch more products. But what we see here is this is our category menu that also you can use it as auto scroller using a swiper that now comes in core J2Commerce. So extension developers can just tie into that and have scroller effects. But one other thing also is that for those of you guys that are U-theme fanatics, this also comes out of the box, not only with a Bootstrap 5 a template, but a UIkit 3 template. And every plugin module has an option to either detect what the sub-template layout is for the menu item, if you're on a menu item that this is a home page, or you can select, which I'll show in the background, you can select which one you want to use. So this way, it'll be much easier for you to integrate this into your U-theme stores. And for the rest of us that use Bootstrap, this already is built in. And this is the product. Keep in mind, guys, this is all out of the box. This is no customization on my end. This is what the new product display will look like when you install it, at least on the Bootstrap 5 one. There are a few things that we're still working out in the transition from Windows box development to a Linux box when it comes to certain capitalizations and whatnot that are causing some interesting things, like adding an extra S here when it shouldn't. But the idea here is that this is a variant product that somebody can easily switch and add to cart without even adding this, without even having to view the product itself. So we have a few different items, but this is the home page. I put this together about 90 minutes before the call. We also have a bunch of new menu items. One of them which is very similar to Joomla single article. We now have a single product page that would allow you to have something like featured item here that you don't have to worry about putting them to a category menu. If you are a single store owner and you sell a book, why should you send them to a category just to go here or hide the category? This is a direct to product a menu item. And so what we're seeing here is there's also a new feature before integrate the component. We can integrate this with anything. So the answer is, do we intend to integrate this with any ERPs? We can do any of that stuff. And the beauty is that now that it has an open REST API, it makes it easier for anybody to really connect to other aspects of it. This is also out of the box. And what you're seeing here is the new accordion view. Before we had no tabs or tab view. Now you have an accordion view. So this is in alignment with much more modern, kind of similar to what Shopify likes to do. We still have the tab view, but the reason I created this single menu item was twofold. One, to showcase single menu item. The second was because the main menu items are using tabs. This is using accordion just to show it off. Also, there's a new accordion custom accordions tab that you can use that would allow you, in this case, to select a certain article. So we have this funny allergy disclosure that is just an article that you can select. You can also add as many custom accordion tabs as you want per product just by going into the product itself and modifying it. one of the other major changes is in the past, for those of you that are familiar with the layout overrides of the view underscore files being the detail files versus the default underscore being the category type views, the default .php file is still there for the overall structure, but each of these individual products here are now layout files, which means they're used over and over again. So you only have to manage one layout view, and it'll display the same in your category view, in modules, in items like upsell, cross sells. So you don't have to sit there if you want to make a change and sit there and try and figure out what are the other 5 files that you have to change to do that. You just manage one, and you'll be able to have it look the same no matter what. And so let's go into the store. The answer is yes, there is a table rate shipping. We also have another cool shipping plugin I'm going to show you as well. Everything that we currently have is going to be over here, if that answers that question. Now, what you're seeing here is actually another new menu item. Before, we were used to either a category, product list view, or a category tag view, which those are still there. We haven't gotten rid of those. This is essentially one menu item that rules them all. It's called the categories menu item, which is our original title, but very similar to the way the Joomla categories works. Is that what this will do is this allows you, if you have a store, the nationwide store that I showed you earlier that had 7,000 products, I was able to get rid of 60 menu items that I had to manage if I wanted to make a change, and was able to replace it with just this one menu item. Because the routing is so much more improved, we don't need to sit there on a module and say which menu item do we want. The way it works is very simple. Whatever category the product's in, that menu item is going to follow it throughout the entire site. So no accidental chances of having 3 or 4 different menu items for the same product. All of this is super tight, SEO wise, in the back end, everything. And so what this view is right here is, we're going to go in the back. Let's see here, wrong one. Okay, let's go. So this is the menu item. And now there's a new categories view tab here that allows you to select which categories, subtemplates you want to use. It also gives you options. You want to also display subcategories, and if so, what's the display mode? Products, just categories, or do you also want to display categories with trending products? And if it's with trending products, how many do you want to show? Do you want to have it as a grid or a scroller? And and everything that goes with it. And so what this does is, on the main categories view, you can have it where, in this case, we have store. There's no products in the store itself. The products are in the subcategories, but this allows you to easily display the categories itself and some products without having to add a single module. The idea is very simple. If we can make it easy for you guys to launch stores, then you're going to launch more stores. You're going to use this more. You're going to see a bunch of other cool stuff we're coming out with that we're not doing for free. And then maybe we might make some money, and then everybody wins. Because if you're using this store, building these for your clients or for your own products, you're making money. But you could, out of the box, essentially run your whole store without having to spend a single dime. Because for those of you that aren't aware, we decided we're not charging anybody for the base J2Commerce. It's going to be free. We're going to make it super easy for everybody to get on board, and we want to make it super hard for you to get off, because there's just way too many cool things on here that other platforms may not have. So that's the overall idea. I'm just telling you right now, that's my end game. I'm going to trick you guys all into giving me your money somehow, but right now it's all going to be free, so we can get you hooked on the J2 crack. All right.
Wow.
So that's the game plan. As you can see here, you got UIkit, Bootstrap 5, and then you can also set the settings for, so you can have you can have a custom subtemplate for the categories view, and then you can have a totally different one if you wanted, or you can just keep them all the same Bootstrap 5, but you have options. A lot of these look very similar. Also, how do you know if a product's trending or not? Just like with articles that track hits, products can now track hits as well. So you can actually show the ones that have the most hits, and hence now these are the ones that the most popular. So little things that it's really 1,000 different. Yes, I'm an ethical drug dealer. I announce it up front. There's no surprises here. So yeah, this is the category. Now, what if you have 70 categories, you're managing it, they're all using the same stuff, but what if one of them in between needs to have some different setting? Well, the last thing you want to have to do is then have to undo everything. So we already thought ahead, and we didn't really think ahead because I ran into that issue myself, so I had to find a solution. And the solution is very simple, is that if you go into the categories themselves, you actually have the ability on any one of these categories to override. This is a complete opposite of Joomla, where you have a category that's overriding the menu. But in this case, this actually allow you to customize a specific category in the main categories menu. And so we also, for those of you that need to have menu items, let's say for a U-theme mega menu, but you want to keep your menu structure somewhere else, there's a new menu item as well, which I did not actually use, but I can show you real quickly. That is essentially an alias that what this would do is this would allow you to select a particular category, but it doesn't actually change the URLs of the products that are in there. They still stay in the same URL of the original category structure, but this would allow you to link to that particular category without creating and generating any new unique menu items that would now have a duplicate. This is essentially acting like the system alias menu, only allowing you to select a category within there if you want to highlight it in somewhere else.
So that would be the same as if you were using a tag, wouldn't it?
You could use a tag. We do have the tags. The tags would work. The best way tags would work would be, in a way, would be like collections. For instance, here's all of my dark chocolate products, and you want to have a separate menu item, so you tag all your dark chocolates with dark chocolate Joomla tag, and then you would use the tags menu to do that. But if you're like me and you like having everything in a seasonal product, exactly, any of that kind of stuff, out of stock or clearance items for things you're trying to get rid of, those would all be different examples of it. Or if you want to show all your bundled products, you can have all your bundled products as well. And then we also have the order confirmation menu link, which I'll show you that in just a little bit. If I am speaking too fast, I apologize. So we have this shirt over here. This is actually, I've been working with Carlos down in Spain. He's been finishing up a J2Store 4 Printify integration, and I went ahead and worked on the J2Commerce 6, just to show you what that looks like real quick. If I go into the app section, and this is just a little taste to come. So I created these 3 products early this morning just to go with the site, just to add some extra stuff. And I purposely did not import this mug just so I can do it here. I usually hate doing this because it never works out well when I do something live, but we're going to give it a shot. What this will do is this went into my Printify account, pulled all of the products that I created, test products, and this will allow you to either sync them or, in this case, import them as a brand new product. So what this is doing is this is actually creating a brand new product on my store. It's adding the variants, it's adding the images, everything, SKUs. It's taking what my cost is in Printify, and you can set how much you want to increase that automatically. So it's, I think it's adding like 75% or whatever to what my cost is. So it handles all of the pricing, everything. So somebody could literally launch a store tomorrow, and now they're a, t-shirt seller, and they could literally use this to do that. While that's working,
Yeah, you could show them your Prettify store where it's at, because so for people who don't know that service, they can see how that works.
yeah, so let's see. So basically, I just went into, you can go in, select any one of these items that you want to customize and design. I just added a few. Basically, go through, you create them all, and as soon as you create them, then what this ends up doing is the API then grabs all these products and then allows you to import them in. And so now it shows that it's imported. Let's go to the products. There it is. And it also, the AI automatically, not my AI, but the Printify AI automatically created a description. The plugin takes the first paragraph and splits it into intro, full. And now if I go into the product, this is a little different, but this way, this gets you to the product quicker, but also gives you enough information. If I go in here, you can see here is, and what's a thing you'll notice is that variant products, you can have more than one image now. So somebody selects this size, whether it's I think 11 or 15, and they can have a completely different set of images than somebody that's selecting 15 size. So all of these were automatically created by Printify, but you can see how easy it is to get product images and get something set up just by integrating it. And this is just a basic variant product type. This here is the new image uploader, and this basically, if I want to make this guy the main image now, all I have to do is just click this arrow, and now this guy's the main image. That's how hard it is. If I want to switch it back, alt text, you just type in here, save it, and now you have the alt descriptive text for every one of these items. If I wanted to get rid of some of these, whichever ones I click on, I can remove them. It won't delete them. It'll just remove them. If I want to delete them, then I can just go into here and delete them myself. But this will allow you to drag and drop as many images as you want. When you do, it'll automatically resize them. It'll automatically optimize them. Can you apply different tax rates to variants? You can apply not only different tax rates, you can apply different inventory. You can apply different everything, price levels, advanced price levels. So for example, for this variant, if I wanted to, switch it to a different pricing calculator that I did not install, I can do that as well. Yeah, I can manage stock, I can update the inventory and all this. We have a lot of other cool stuff as well, but we also have an e-commerce schema. Does that mean that the customer places their order with you? Let's see, what did Mark write, Olivier?
Yeah,
And
what
you can
it
come
means.
back to questions later if you want.
Yeah.
You don't have
Okay,
to
yeah.
know.
That's fine.
So basically finishing up on the Printify stuff is there's a automatic, you can push it directly into Printify yourself, or you can wait, and in the order itself, you can actually push the product to, which I'll show you in a little bit. There's a lot of cool functions that are coming, or that are already here. But essentially, this is the product view, which is built using core Joomla list views. So you have the ability to do full searches by product type, manufacturer. So many different ways you can find what you need. And we'll go quickly into the orders. This is the orders view. If I go into, this is a little bit cleaner and easier to follow. But you'll notice with authorize.net, you have the ability to actually void a transaction before it actually gets charged, at the end of the day. So if a customer calls you right after they place an order and they go, oh, I didn't mean to place the order, you can void it without having to log into authorize.net. We're going to do the same thing for Stripe and a lot of the other major payment options. You can see all the details and so on. And with options like authorize.net, you'll have the ability to even store payment tokens. You can have an option to turn that off or on, which would allow customers like in Amazon to be able to reuse their same payment. The store owner have the ability to use their store payment. If they call in and they say, hey, can you add this to my order? You can go modify this order. You can see what the difference is, and you can literally click a button and it would charge their customer the difference for whatever the new order total is. AutoShip here is a new feature that allows you to integrate either your own or use their UPS accounts, not just UPS, but DHL, USPS, and FedEx. So this one can connect all four of them, and you could even create a shipping label directly in here. And literally, this is in the demo version. So it says, that it's successfully created it. This would be the tracking number if it was actually real. But the cool thing is if this actually print the label and print it onto a label printer or whatnot, without having to go through another third-party system, you can also void the label. There's a lot that you can do directly from here, including a new packing slip. I mean, imagine if your packing slip looked like this, compared to the non-existent one that is currently there. But how do you get a packing slip to look like that? Well, that kind of leads me into the next area, which is another new section. Actually, no, that's email templates. We're going to get to that in a second, but we're going to go to print templates. Before it used to be invoice templates. You still have your original invoice here, but now you can actually design a packing slip. And inside here is a new visual drag and drop editor. So you can drag stuff in here, move stuff around, and you can do a test print. And there's already preloaded templates. So if you jack this one up, which I guarantee you will, and you want to go back to what it was before, you can load a modern packing slip and start all over again, or you can create a new one and off of that. But plugins can tie into this, so third-party developers can create really cool stuff and add additional new custom features in here. You can use just a regular drag and drop to drop stuff in and really design this as much as you want. And a lot of the coloring is handled in, I have not slept at all in the last 4 months, Emmanuel. That's you can ask my wife on that one. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, guys. The emails is even going to blow your mind even more. Now it doesn't matter with the install. Whatever you currently have in your system, when it moves everything over, it won't override these. So if you have 10 different email templates currently, you're still going to keep those from J2. It'll merge them in here. In addition to these new ones that already come, which is a cancellation. Somebody cancels it. There's one that's already made, one when it's been shipped, and then this is a confirmation one. And third-party plugins such as the gift card can tie in and have their own display here using the same drag and drop. And for gift cards, you can see that they can even insert their own automatic layouts, as well as insert their own side panel items over here. Or would it be? Anyways, it's somewhere there. But you can also see there's conditional sections. So you can say if this, if this is on the order, then show this versus, versus not. And for developers, there's multiple hooks that are built into this email. So for instance, a points app or a reviews app could automatically insert the customer's points that they have, that they've earned and that they've accumulated automatically into their transactional emails. So this is now a really more of an enterprise grade email system for those of you that prefer the regular Joomla editor or a PHP file. to manage your stuff, those are still here. We haven't taken away any of those. We just added this to make it much easier for everybody to create some better looking stuff. And they want to see what it looks like, they can go ahead and send a test email and do all that stuff. And that's just one that was inserted through the gift certificate app. This is like the normal order confirmation. Same thing. You can select, from any of the different layouts and create your own, and whatever it is that you want to do. And in the rest of the design section, we have our template override section. So for plugins like Bootstrap 5, UIkit, if you're a template developer, sub-template developer, and you want to create your own, let's say Bootstrap, modern or modern Google interface, for instance, you can create your own plugin here, and you would be able to easily create an override for any one of these. And for the items that are actual, like the simple item here that I created for, there is actually a visual builder that allows those non-developers to actually see what it looks like. You can even have it see what it would look like with this particular product, right? You can use this to drag things up and down without having to touch a single line of code to make it easy to move stuff. Or if you prefer just using CSS, but you want to add the CSS, you could click on stuff like this and simply just change the CSS right there. You can add it. You can drop in new elements, rearrange it, all using a similar editor override system that we're familiar with in Joomla. So this is still something that that I feel like we can still improve and make this even better. But for a beta version, I think this is packed with a lot more options than before. And we did move around a few things that didn't seem to make sense under the setup. We moved certain things over here. We took out currencies and moved them into localization. It also comes with 40 different currencies loaded out of the box to help those of you that are all around the world. And you'll notice there's, the exchange rate seems to be different for each one. One of the things we discovered is the currency conversion app hasn't worked since the free API that required an actual API about 2 years ago. So now we got it working. If you don't want to get a free API from one of the 4 API systems that this connects to, the very first one is the Frankfurter, which they do, I think, 30 different currencies. And that is the default option. But because we have more than 30, I use that to actually update. And you can have this set as a task item under scheduled tasks. I haven't even set one up on this demo site yet, but there's one if you want to clean up the queue logs. There's another one to process the queue. We also have another one to remove all those pesky new orders that never make it into an actual order. This will go through and you can set how often you want it to remove those. Eventually, there'll be one that will trigger an abandoned cart email to those, but there's a lot that we can do. And then this one, you can schedule this if you have a multi currency site to update the exchange rate on the different currencies multiple times a day. So open exchange rate, you have EU taxes tool. Yeah, we're going to have all that stuff. Also, for those of you that really numbers and metrics and everything are important, I haven't even showed you some of the coolest things. Like the dashboard looks totally different than the existing one. And this actually, if you wanted to adjust your dashboard for the last 7 days, you can just simply click it. And if you notice, it immediately changes. It's all Ajax up here. This for developers, you can plug in to hook in developer messages, such as if your PayPal is in sandbox mode and you're about to go live, this could trigger a message that hey, your PayPal is in sandbox mode, so that way it'll remind you to switch it into go live mode. All of these are module positions or could be hooked into with event hooks. So third-party elements can add additional statistics about it and into here, or you as a store owner can just add it as a module position. And this is just the dashboard. For those, I purposely did not finish some of these, but there's a setup wizard that'll help make sure that everything is that your store and that your customer stores are have everything they need, including we've integrated since it'd be kind of hard for since we're all involved in the guided tours team to not include guided tours in here, where you can literally just push the button and it will start walking you through here, which we still have work to do on this, but a lot of these things are designed to make it easy for you to go ahead and do that. In the analytics/reports section, there's a store stats that goes even deeper. This will, I literally launched the store this morning, so that's why there's nothing here other than the older sales from when I did the demo. But what you can see here is it does track sessions, it tracks add to carts, how many people started checkout, how many people completed it, what step. How is it able to track all of these metrics without using Google Analytics or something like that? Well, it's using the activity log plugin that we created to track user activity for every single one of these steps. So this is all server side. Everything that you see here is all based on actual server numbers. You can see how many people are logged in as customers, how many people are guests. You can start to build which ones are your top products, what are the times of the day you get most activity, what are the times of the day you get most of your conversions. And everything on this page is all full Ajax. So you want to see what the last, I mean, the numbers are going to be the same because everything was done, but you can literally click a button, or you can also have a custom date range and hit refresh, and it'll do that as well. Geez, there's what else? Let me just go through here and see if there's anything else I missed. Apps, as you can see. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say you can take a break for questions if you want.
Let me just finish we got the payment methods here, which these all, look a lot better than before. Shipping methods, and just so you guys know, like the big picture here, like we're already working on my automated migration tools, like the migration tool that you saw earlier, that will make it easy to migrate from right now we're working on eShop and HitKashop. And I do it reluctantly because the last thing I want to do is suck away all of their users. But if somebody wants to come here and this is going to make it easier for them, then that's the way I can justify it for me. But yeah, WordPress is definitely something. I know Roland is working on a one-click migration from WordPress, and I'm going to be working with him to also do that with J2. But idea here is we want to be able to offer something that can compete with the Shopify's, with the bigger platforms that are out there, that's all their focus is. Because the reality is for Joomla to grow, it's going to grow through e-commerce, one way or the other. There's lots of users out there that are not super happy with WooCommerce, but they're using it because it's open source and they're able to build their stores. But everything is so expensive there, and that there's no real alternative. So if we can go ahead and offer a better alternative that costs less money, then we're going to get the same people that left 10 years ago to go to WordPress. They're going to come right back because of this. And so what ends up happening, the entire Joomla community grows. And that's the big picture. That's why Olivier and I have worked tirelessly over these last 18 months to help all of you with your existing stores, as well as moving towards this is the vision that we envision. And we're just getting started. I haven't even showed you some of the front end product stuff, which I can definitely go ahead and answer some questions right now, or Olivier. can answer some questions. Yeah, we'll have a VirtueMart one for sure, guys. But I know, Olivier, you want to talk to them about your what you're about to release.
Yeah. In the meantime, we're still working for Joomla 5, and then for people who want to migrate to Joomla 6. So I just released last night the version 4.1 of J2Store, J2Commerce. This version really will help you migrate your stores to Joomla 6 while you wait for the migration to J2Commerce. Or if you want to stay on J2Store kind of store, but which I don't think you will after you use it today.
But it'll make it easier for them to migrate to this if you're already on Joomla 6 already, right?
Yes, that's the idea, was to make sure that you have a platform that works under Joomla 6, and then it's much easier than to migrate just your store and not to have to migrate your whole site to Joomla 6, because we know that this entails a lot of steps, and then we want to have the least friction possible, so it's much easier for you.
So Olivier, can I ask you what would be the ideal? So I let's say have a Joomla 3 site still. I've not done that horrible barrier to 4 and all that. What would be the way? Would I do the Joomla first and ignore the J2 store, or the?
No, yeah, you have to go through steps like you do with Joomla. From Joomla 3 to 4, you're gonna have to use the migration tool that we have for Joomla 3. Use it to migrate your store to Joomla 4. This is a mandatory step, otherwise you may break things. And then when you're in Joomla 4, you can then go all the way to Joomla 5. Make sure you have 4.1 on your Joomla 5 system, and then migrate to Joomla 6. And we also have a migration tool on Joomla 5, so that when you go to Joomla 6, you don't break anything, because one particular thing you have to do when you go from Joomla 5 to Joomla 6 is disable the compatibility plugin, which is required for J2Store, J2Commerce to work. So if you if you forget a couple of extensions that are required to have the plugin enabled, then you can break your site on the way to migration to 6. So we have a tool for that. It will disable all the extensions from J2Commerce that you have on your store, on your site. Then you will be able to disable the compatibility plugin, move to Joomla 6, and the migration tool will allow you to re-enable everything at once, even with the compatibility plugin if it's not enabled yet. So you have just a 2-click migration with J2Commerce in a way. If that's the only extension that you have on your store, on your site, that requires the backward compatibility plugin, you have to make sure the other extensions also.
Yeah, I'm just thinking it was around about J2 Store 3.320 or something when they kind of dropped it, didn't they? And
Yes.
people haven't migrated over to you using yours. If they've just kind of not heard the message, then they will still be on that. So, and that will mean
the answer to your question, Phil, is if it was me, if I still had a Joomla 3 store, I would probably skip the J2 Store 4 part, and I would probably uninstall. I would obviously create a duplicate of that site and uninstall J2 Store altogether, so I just have the database. Then I could install on the Joomla 6 site. I could then install the J2Commerce, use the migration tool to migrate all the data from that database into here. And you probably are going to be wanting to do a redesign anyways, on the Joomla 6 if you're going from Joomla 3. So then all you have to focus on is just the look, but all the modules and everything for here would allow you to display it however you need to. But if, I don't know if there's a clean way from a Joomla 3 site that you want to also bring over the the layout files and that, entire thing. But if it's just the data and you want to make sure that that the data is not lost, and all the customer information, logins, history, the migration tools should easily be able to take it from there and push it into the new system.
That's great.
Mm.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I think that's where quite a lot of people who have hung, they'll have gone, bugger it, I'm not going to upgrade Joomla, I'm not going to upgrade this, because they've stopped supporting it. And we need to get that message out there that there is a product supported, and this is the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the problem with
We know from the stats there's still a lot of Joomla 3 sites. And I think it's often when a main component of that site stalls, that's why they just stopped converting. And I think this is a great time to push conversions of Joomla 3 again, all the way up.
I agree. Unfortunately, the only way they would get a message about it is if they installed one of the J2Commerce versions. That way, then they can get a notification that there's an update. Otherwise, if they don't install it manually the very first time, they're not going to even know that there's something out there.
No, but they will, because I happen to notice that outreach is in this channel at the moment. So the outreach team is going to do such an amazing job that everybody's going to know about.
That's great. The one thing is, if you go from Joomla 3 to 6, there is a big chance that all the overrides you created for Joomla 3 are not going to be useful. And I would suggest, in that case, just start from scratch with J2Commerce and just move the data. You don't even have to create overrides, because most of the stuff that Adam shows you is looking good out of the box
That's what I think, yeah.
on whatever system you're using. So either Bootstrap or UIkit. So then you decide if you need to make it some tweakings here and there. But I would suggest, if you go from a very old site, just to start from scratch with the overrides.
So my thought here would be, if I was going to do that, I'm just thinking, trying to get people from 3 all the way up to 6. If I was to do that, I would take the tables with me that had the J2 store. I would have my Joomla 6 site, I'd move it all the way up to Joomla 6, not worry about the J2 store. Do the J2Commerce, and then what happens with any sales that have been on the live site in that little period of time? I noticed you could sync them, but would that be possible by copying just a few tables from the J2 store again?
Well, I think technically, yes, if you were to put the main site, but I'm sure we can just add something into the migration tool that would allow you, if they're on the same server, to just, sync with another database table itself. And if that would make it even easier, especially for the Joomla 3 users, to just skip, we already skipped 5, but this would allow them to skip 4 and just go straight from 3 to 6 for J2Commerce. If they're running on a Joomla 3 site, chances are it's probably starting to show its age anyways for most people, and it probably could use a new fresh coat of paint.
Yeah.
So I was going to show actually the accessible checkout and
somebody.
Sure.
It's Scott here. Adam, I know we talked in the past while messaging, and my last email when I reached out to you is about the US taxation, which is a nightmare. And that's why SVM had not moved from Shopify, because the cost of Shopify plus that module or that payment plugin you put in for Square, which is thumbs up for that. Thank you for doing that. It's the taxation. We cannot manually create a tax, even though it can be done in Joomla, in the older version of J2C, manually to put in those, to manually maintain that database of townships and cities and the state taxes, it's not doable. Now, Shopify obviously has it built into their platform where it's automatically updated depending on the city and those subtaxes that are however it's handled. How is the new J2C going to be able to deal with uh, people who shop outside of their state? In this case,
Yeah.
Sterling Valley Maple is now, he does sell his product state or nationwide. How would we deal with the taxation? In Canada, it's easy. We got the provinces, 5% federal tax, and then each province has their own. It's really easy to set up, but the US, it's not.
Okay, so the answer to that is we are, as I mentioned in the support ticket, we have the Avalara plugin that will handle all that, even down to the local city level, and that's 95% done. I mean, it actually works, but there's a few small things that we have to do in order to have it certified by Avalara, so that way we can be an official Avalara certified vendor. But that'll handle all of it out of the box. It'll look at what their actual address is. It'll create reports. Here's what you need to send, every quarter, and all that stuff for you. It tracks it all, and then also we're working with, we've already have a few different. Oh shoot, what is the Olivier? What's the new European the e-invoicing. For those of you that are in Europe that are worried about that, we actually are working with Avalara to have one. This is for larger vendors that do about 900 orders a month more, where you just hook up to the Avalara system. It'll figure out all of the e-invoicing for any location in that you may have throughout Europe. We already have stuff for Spain already ready to go. Then they moved it back a year, so we hurry up and wait on that one. But yeah, so we understand that different tax laws, e-invoicing all around the world are constantly changing, and we are doing everything we can to make sure that we stay ahead of it, so we can make sure that whether you're here in the States, North America, or Europe, or somewhere else, that we can make sure that we have you guys covered. So, Pascal.
Oh, I got, hold on. Just one.
Yeah, sure.
Will require an account with Avalaro. Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah. You would sign up with them, and I think depending, like, if you're doing 500 orders or less, it's maybe
Okay,
20
I'll
or
look
30
into
bucks
that.
a month. But
All
yeah, but that would handle everything. I mean, we were able to see county tax, if there was county tax in the area, special town tax, like it tracks everything down to the cow around the corner. So
Awesome. That's good news. So it's all going to come down to getting SVM away from Shopify, so that, because he's spending a lot of money on there that he doesn't need to be spending. And as you know, we've been trying to get it over to J2Commerce in the beginning, but it was the taxation thing that just put the hockey stick into the spokes, and we couldn't move forward. All right, that's it. That's my only question, and I'm looking forward to testing out the beta.
Yeah, hi, thank you very much. So first of all, thank you for taking over and really pushing this project. We're very, very happy. We're also using it. We're in Switzerland, and one of the things that I found is that many of the extensions that were available with J2 Store were not working anymore. And so we tried to figure out like a common a common thing in between them, so that we could identify which of them would not work and then just get rid of them. Is that something that you have built in with your migration tool, or
No, the migration tool, I mean, think of it as this, is that everything is going to be, I mean, everything is actually rebuilt from the ground up. The main components rebuilt from the ground up, and every plugin, which in the beginning is going to be painful, mainly for Olivier and I, and for those of you that are waiting for us to get, a certain one over. But once we get over that hump, like we've already done in the last 18 months with many of the J2Commerce extensions, the beautiful part about it is that it'll be much easier for you. Even, a lot of people are using AI to create stuff, and because everything here is using the same, the same system as Joomla 6, it makes it so much easier for it to be able to build custom stuff or help you debug something and find out why something's not working for you. And you point it to all of the developer documentation that we're working on, and that'll just make it even easier. But if you send us an email to support@j2commerce.com, Pascal, with the plugins that you found were kind of stuck in between that weren't working, I can get them working for you on the current system, and then we can work on migrating those over as well.
Well, I don't even know if it's necessary. What we have done is we just tried to find a common denominator, and then we developed a plugin that would clean them up, so get rid of them, because I think in some cases there are already replacements available. Yeah, maybe I just advertise for that tool now. It's free, available in our repository. You can just download it. I'll post the link in the chat
Send
now.
me the information. We can put it in the extensions directory so people can click on there and find you when they're searching for other stuff.
Yeah, and another thing that we were worried about is that the whole privacy issue has been, going on in parallel to the Joomla core privacy functionality, and we found that, it's so well built that maybe we should just use it and integrate the J2Store or J2Commerce privacy issues within the core functionality of Joomla. So we were working on an extension for that as well, and we've now finally installed, tested, and debugged it. So it's also working and available if anyone is interested. It's just an extension that you can install and then have all the requests coming in through the Joomla core functionality. Gives you all the possibilities, and it also is very well explained on how to integrate the functions into your templates within J2Commerce. So that would be another tool that we would freely distribute to you.
If you could,
That's great.
No,
Yeah.
no. Just because I was wondering if you were planning on doing something like this, and we just thought, you know what, just go and do it. And yeah.
If you could, I was going to say, put all the links into the chat so that we can copy them out, and we'll put them in. There is actually a channel in Mattermost for JUGL London. So if you could put them into that channel as well, then that won't get lost after this gets closed down. That would be really awesome.
And I heard where he's from, and he will hear from me, probably.
Also good, yeah. Very nice.
Elisa had a question. Selling extensions with download ID. Well, if you've bought an extension from J2Commerce, then that would tell you yes, it is possible, because we're using J2. We actually, believe it or not, drink our own Kool-Aid. So we are selling our own extensions using our own, and we are working with we already have an integration with ARS, with the Akiba release system, and then when we're building our extensions, we actually have Claude automatically check the code, pushes it into our GitHub, and Olivier goes through his processes, and then once he's ready to go, he pushes a button and the new update's released, and everybody that bought it gets a notification that there's a new update. And so, yeah, we are working on a marketplace app that will allow third-party developers that may, like in Pascal's case, to offer it for free or even charge. That it'll be similar to like an app store where you don't have to worry about selling and having all this. You have one cool extension, you put it on there, and minus maybe 10% or whatever, everything else will go to you, as an easy way for people to add multiple products from different vendors all at once, or you can use it yourself. We have so many things in the works, but let me share my screen. I'll show you the front end sales process so you can see this is out of the box, by the way. And let me share my screen again. Olivier, when you get a chance, can you copy those links from Pascal in the chat? I'm sure you already did, but
I did.
I knew you did. I honestly, I don't know what, everybody hears me when I'm talking about this, but the reality is he's the engine behind us. He's the so humble, and but without him, none of this would be anywhere. So we do have a Joomla fundraiser system that we're working on, Angie, that for my own nonprofits that I'm building on, that is essentially allow people, they have a birthday party, they have an anniversary, they want to raise funds, they can jump on there and create a page, upload their images, and have a tracker to show how much they've collected for their goal. And all that can be done through or you can even have a Kickstarter. You want to start a Kickstart type item. It could be something using the same fundraiser app. But let me stop talking.